Hello, my chicklets. Thank you for stopping by. Today we will be reading day 14 in our Soulmate September series, where the first sentence you hear your soulmate speak tattooed on your arm. This story is called One Little Swear. Fuck. Language, Patton said to the stranger on the bus beside him. It was an automatic reaction at this point. Immediately afterward, he turned and apologized to the person. Patton had the first words he was going to hear from his soulmate written on his arm, like everyone else, but his words were a little unfortunate. He just wished they weren't so vulgar. Fuck off, Karen, and take your attitude with you. His parents had been appalled when the words first appeared. Imagine explaining to a 4-year-old what the word fuck meant. Then his friends in school found out, and it became a running joke. All of his friends making fun and using the word over and over. Patton had developed a reflex, chiding his friends every time they would swear. Unfortunately, it happened with strangers now too. Most were just surprised by being told off. Some actually tried to yell at Patton afterward. Thankfully, this time nothing happened. The man was understanding, and Patton was able to offer some help and advice for his situation. Patton knew he should try to be a bit more careful. He didn't need to get into a confrontation with a stranger over something so simple, but it was ingrained in him by now. He tried to look on the bright side. At least it gave him a reason to talk to and to help more people. His thoughts were still squarely on his soulmate as he walked to Starbucks. He was walking in a bit later than he normally would and enjoyed the change of pace. He had switched shifts with someone at work. Anna was going to her cousin's wedding, and Patton loved it when other people were supportive of those they loved. It was cute, and he wasn't sure what kind of romance he was going to have with his soulmate, so he wanted to support others when he could. Thankfully, the shift wasn't too bad, just a few hours later, but that did mean Starbucks was much busier than normal when he went to get his morning hot chocolate. The loud hum of people and the smell of coffee was enough to make Patton's smile feel more real. It was exciting, coming when more people were awake. There was just something happy about it all. Patton loved the atmosphere, and he was just soaking it in until he got closer to the counter. That was when things took a slightly sour turn. The woman in front of him was currently yelling at the barista. She was such a young girl, too, and obviously wasn't used to the abuse. Don't cry, he thought to himself, trying to send the girl some positive vibes. Don't cry, she's not worth it. Patton wanted to step in, but what could he say? He was sure the woman was mad for a reason, probably not at the girl, but at something. He went to open his mouth, but thankfully he didn't have to step in. A tall, black-haired man walked over with all the swagger of a self-assured queen. He put his hands on the younger girl's shoulder, obviously providing some comfort to her as she sunk into it, and Patton could feel the wave of protectiveness. Fuck off, Karen, and take your attitude with you, the man said, and the words were pouring out of his mouth before Patton had a chance to stop them. Language, Patton whispered, blushing slightly as he realized what he had done. Oh, sorry, I'm so sorry, that was not appropriate. You can just butt out of this, the woman at the counter was fuming, turning her ire onto Patton, but the man was just laughing. It was a deep, hearty laugh that sent a shiver down Patton's spine. He wasn't sure if he should be scared of the woman in front of him, frustrated at the man behind the counter, or glad that the young girl wasn't being attacked anymore. Not how I was expecting those words to be said, but I'll take it. Scram, Karen. I've got a soulmate to flirt with. And I'm not afraid to call the cops. The way he snarled those last words made the woman jump, walking out of the door, but not before muttering something about suing the store. The man behind the counter paid her no mind, instead sizing Patton up behind a pair of large sunglasses. How did he see inside with those on? So, what can I get you, honey bun? Patton blushed a little bit. Just a hot chocolate and a chocolate croissant? He was a bit confused about what exactly was happening, but his eyes caught sight of the sole words on this new barista's wrist. In bubbly letters, it said, Language. Oh, sorry, I'm so sorry. and the reality of the situation dawned on him. He wasn't being laughed at. It was a celebration? Maybe? Patton still wasn't sure, but this was his soulmate. Oh, a sweet tooth. I like it. The man started to write Patton's order on the cup. Don't worry about the cash. Gotta make a good impression on my soon-to-be boo. His smirk lit up his face, and Patton again found himself speaking without thinking. I'm not a ghost. I'm a dad. And the man smiled even bigger. He smiled, his lips upturned into a light, playful smirk. We can discuss that later. Why don't you text me your name and we can plan dinner? I don't have... He was already walking away, giving Patton a wave. On the cup, sweets. I've got a hot chocolate for Remy's soulmate? Patton blushed further, walking over to the counter and grabbing his drink. There, on the bottom of the cup, was the messy scrawl that Patton recognized from his own wrist, but this time it spelled out Remy, and right under that was a phone number. This morning had been a bit of a whirlwind, and not how Patton expected to meet his soulmate. But how could he say no to someone who stood up to bullies, even if he did curse? A light smile crossed his face as Patton began to put the number into his phone, texting Remy with a cat meme and his name. He had always thought that when he met his soulmate there would be a lot more conflict. Patton almost expected himself to get mad at his soulmate for swearing, but honestly, it had been worth it. He took a sip of his hot chocolate, sighing at the warm taste that filled him. Maybe one little swear was okay. Thank you all for listening. Again, this was day 14 of our Soulmate September series, One Little Swear. Thank you all for listening, and I hope you have a wonderful day.